I hope there'll be a Boox Max with colour. Yeah, I hope that they'll still bring us a sort of Boox Ultra Max or something with a keyboard case and a big thing there as well. We will see. Bought a new 3C, bought 3 months ago, barely used. Just noticed 4C version, what do I do now? I mean, it depends. You know, if you barely used it, then how much is that improved color gonna mean that you will use it more? I'm personally a fan of love the one you're with, and I think if you've got anything from sort of Note Air 2 Plus era, you've still got a fabulous e-ink tablet. What I would do is I would really assess with that Note Air 3C that you've got, really assess if you've abandoned it for, well, what reason have you abandoned? Why don't you use it much? Try and use it more, get used to a workflow, and then assess whether it's worth getting the next one or not. I imagine so, yeah. I mean, like after this now, you know, I think it's worth there. If this is this year's e-ink screen, then I think it's worth them updating all their lineup to include this color panel. Why not? Do I use stylus ink device as a planner? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I do. I don't use the Boox Memo app. I use a PDF format planner most of the time as well, but you can now have the PDF as the background, so I think that's worth doing. And I agree, I don't think Boox will use Gallery 3 unless they decide to go with an entirely kind of revamped software for that. You're right, they wouldn't be able to just port their software straight on and it'd be lovely. I mean, imagine this on Gallery with it. Every single time you want to switch between one menu and the other, and there are lots of menus on Boox because there's lots of options on Boox. So it would just be an absolute farce, I think, trying to use that there. I'm imagining a 5C will be next year. I think that they probably learned from the criticism from last time. I think there'll probably be a 4 with black and white pretty soon, because there wasn't, last year, even on the run into Christmas, there was a 3 black and white announced. So I would expect that in a way. And I expect a 5C this time next year, probably, if there's a reason for doing it. You've already written, the text you've already written turns to black. That's interesting. I haven't found that yet. In the settings, you can do feedback down here, and you can put in your plus, and they will actually just chat to you. And often as not, they actually go ahead and do that. So that was in settings, and then feedback. You can actually send them your experience, and they do respond, and they do improve things pretty quickly in my experience. So do that. Is there an easy way to categorize the notes? Using a bit, I find it's not intuitive in this respect. If you're doing it on a book, then yeah, use the different colored highlights to categorize your notes, and you can also do different colored annotations on the books and do that on the PDF, and then you can sort by those colors afterwards. So I think that's probably the way to do that. You can tag within your notes as well. And now, of course, they've got this overview structure, they're calling it. You can add tags in here. So you add them by the lasso tool. So I don't know, just write something, do a lasso, make that a tag up here, look, or link. So use those functions there. Those functions are all there. They're not as obvious where they are, and because there are more of those, simply more of those functions than there are on some other tablets. So I would say that's the thing to do. Between the Note Air 4C and Note Air 3C in terms of processor, which processor do they use in the 4C? I looked at that at the start. It is the 750, the Snapdragon 750G, I think. And it seems to be a 2 gigahertz processor, which is a bit strange. So 4 of them are 2 gigahertz, and then the other 4 are the efficiency cores. But it does seem to be performing as well, if not better, than the 3C, which had a 2.4 gigahertz processor. So who knows? Glad you found it interesting. Wait and hope for a new Tab Ultra C Pro soon. Not sure when they tend to release new ones. No, well, that one, the Tab Ultra C Pro came out at the same time as the Note Air 3C. But I think that if they had released the Tab Ultra C Pro 2 at this point, I think people would have really gone a bit wild at them in terms of, you know, how quickly they release things. But I don't, you know, I think judging by that, they probably should, because that screen from what we saw today has definitely done better. So thank you all. Good evening, good afternoon. Hope you will have a great Friday tomorrow, and we'll see you again soon.